This house belongs to you, and to every American. For 8 years, just a short chapter in the long story of our democracy, my family also had the privilege of calling the White House home. The architect who designed the White House was an Irish immigrant. Many of the laborers who built it were slaves. And on his second day living here, John Adams wrote a letter to his wife Abigail, praying that only honest and wise leaders would rule under this roof. Beneath that roof resides not just a seat of government, of course, but also a living museum, a home to history, and a working office building. Let's go inside and have a look around. Just inside the north entrance of the White House, this is the Cross Hall. Thousands of tourists walk here every week, taking selfies with portraits of presidents past in the same hall where Jefferson displayed antlers and pelts from Lewis and Clark's expedition. We've welcomed many heads of state here, and this is the carpet that I walked down toward the East Room over there on the left to tell the world that we had delivered justice to Osama bin Laden. I'll never forget coming in here for the first time after my inauguration, starting a new job and moving our family into a new home on the same day. You couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and gratitude about this place, and that never goes away. The White House is the people's house, and Michelle and I always joke, we're just renters here, and the owners are the American people and all those who've invested in creating this amazing place with so much history. And what we wanted to do was to make sure that everybody felt they had access to it, that it wasn't just the well-connected or somebody who knew a member of Congress, that as many people as possible could come in and appreciate the place where a Lincoln or an FDR or Reagan had made decisions that had helped to shape America. And there are a lot of artifacts here that help you appreciate in a vivid and visceral way the power of this place. Downstairs, in the basement of the West Wing, is the Situation Room. It's actually a series of rooms with secure video conference technology that lets us communicate with generals and leaders from around the globe. Intelligence and national security officials work here 24/7. Early in his presidency, John F. Kennedy recognized that the White House needed a central information center to monitor intelligence and military missions. His successor, Lyndon Johnson, used these rooms during the Vietnam War, as did George H.W. Bush during the first Gulf War, and George W. Bush after 9/11. You might know the Situation Room best as the place where we planned the raid on bin Laden, and then watched it unfold. I'll never forget the tension of those critical hours. This is the place where I've spent a lot of time over the last 8 years. I remember when I first walked in and I looked around and I thought, it's actually not as big as I imagined it on television. It's a fairly intimate space. What also struck me was the amazing light that comes in from these windows that you don't always fully appreciate when you just see photographs of it. You never stop feeling humbled by the Oval Office. You never forget that it's in this room where decisions of war and peace and major advancements in civil rights and human rights have all been made. Where for generations, the major debates of the day have taken place. I meet with my senior staff here every single day. I've met here with leaders of Congress and of other countries. I always believed it was more important to take the long view and not to get sidetracked by minute distractions, to stay true to my values and remember why we came here. That's why when I'm sitting at the Resolute desk, I look at busts of Lincoln and Dr. King. When I look out the window, I can also see my girls' swing set.
The first day coming into this house was a whirlwind because it's inauguration day. You don't get access to this house until the day that the president-elect takes the oath of office and actually becomes the president of the United States. And you feel that way for several months. It takes some time to really settle in and feel like this place is your home. So it was probably around March that I started to be able to take a deep breath and feel this place as not a museum, but as my home. And once we sort of transcended that hurdle, it really does feel like home to us. There are 2 floors upstairs above the state floors, and that's where our home is. That's where our children have grown up. Our children were very little, and Sasha was only in 2nd grade, so this is really the only home she really knows. We'll continue our visit on the state floor, the first level of the White House residence and the traditional space for hosting public events. This is the Red Room, an elegant parlor and sitting room that has been used for small dinners, social gatherings, and even family musical recitals during the Lincoln administration. Most recently, Eleanor Roosevelt organized briefings here for women journalists who were excluded from regular press conferences. Over the years, the East Room has hosted countless state dinners, concerts, and other important moments in American history. Musicians like Itzhak Perlman, Dizzy Gillespie, Gloria Estefan, Stevie Wonder, and Melissa Etheridge have performed here. This is where President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act and where Barack signed the Affordable Care Act. Even the paintings are legendary. Dolley Madison saved this famous Gilbert Stuart portrait of George Washington when British troops set fire to the White House in 1814.
Every president moves to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue with the full awareness that it is a temporary address. In our time here, we made some great progress, great friends, and great memories. That's what I'll take with me most, the same way you carry memories of your own homes. This is where we watched our daughters grow up. This is where we got to meet talented, devoted, optimistic Americans from every corner of the country and every station in life. Because as beautiful as these buildings are, it's the people in them and the work that's done here, the triumphs and tragedies you experience over the course of your years here, that's what imbues a place with meaning.